The West Virginia Mountaineers have got an absolute mauler out of one of the best high schools in all the country.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up? Welcome back in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul. Welcome back into another Locked On episode, another episode of Locked On West Virginia, where we're talking football, we're talking basketball, we're talking naming rights, we're talking a little bit of everything today. Going to be brought to you by none other than Game Time. And look, if you want to create an account, use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Do so today. Get over to Game Time, where it's all at. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being one of our everyday listeners here on the show, and being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. We've got a code red. Sign on, sign on, sign on. That's right. West Virginia has gone back into the high school ranks and got an absolute mauler from the high school ranks, and not just any high school. St. Francis High School in Maryland produces some of the very best talent in the entire country, year in, year out. Year in, year out. They do it every single year. 5-star guys, 4-star guys, 3-star guys, all come from St. Francis, and this is no different. Let's get to it. So, obviously, we're going to watch a little tape, but before we get there, I'll do the breakdown. That is how she goes. West Virginia gets a big physical presence in the middle of the offensive line today. And I'll be honest, man, LaMarcus Dillard is a mauler. That's the best way to describe him, really. Similar to Camden Goforth the other day, they have a lot of the same similar qualities. It's pretty obvious the type of player that Jack McNeil likes, that Coach Rich Rod likes, and it's I'm sure it's McNeil as much as anything, which he likes these maulers, man. So not that all offensive linemen aren't necessarily maulers. Some guys do it with technique, some guys do it with both. Some guys they really try hard, and doesn't necessarily mean they're maulers. Maulers are what I call guys that are really physical in tight, short spaces. Guys that when they touch somebody, you just see their body jolt, or you just see them, like Goforth has got a 3-4 minute video of him doing nothing but pancaking guys. That's what I call maulers. And maulers typically are the kind of players that play to and through the whistle. And I got to be honest on this one too. LaMarcus Dillard is that kind of player. 6'3", 305-pound offensive lineman from St. Francis Academy, who committed to West Virginia over Maryland, Miami, Pitt, Virginia Tech, UCF, Syracuse, Boston College. He is a 3-star offensive lineman and will be one of I think he's the 3rd or 4th in the class. We got Goforth, we got Lyles, Morris. That's the other one. So he'll be the 4th one in this class. And like I said, St. Francis Academy is one of the premier high school programs in the country, known for producing elite talent and competing on a national level in Baltimore, where, obviously Dillard is listed from Upper Marlboro area, but he plays at St. Francis in the Maryland Interscholastic Athletic Association, the MIAA, and schedules national opponents. That's what they do. One of them schools that does that. So they face the best teams in the country in every single game. 3, 4, 5-star players you're going up against in every single game. It's a little different than your regular high school racket, where you're going to play kids you're better than in almost every game. It's a lot more leveled out this way. And this program has a knack and a reputation for developing NFL caliber players. You look at Blake Corum from Michigan, right? Now he's with the Rams. Or you look at Anoma from Alabama, and then Michigan. Or you look at Chris Boswell, who is now at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So plenty of talent that comes out of there. And why does that matter? Well, obviously, I just said the elite competition that St. Francis plays with. They play IMG Academy. They play DeMatha Catholic. So what it does is it exposes the player to a level of competition that mirrors almost like a semi-pro version of college football. High caliber environment. That means Dillard is battle tested against future Power 4 athletes, give him a head start in physicality and technique. Talent development means the coaching staff, which everybody knows who Massey is, who emphasizes that NFL style training and discipline over there at St. Francis. I can never say his last name, but he's been there for a long time, preparing guys for the next level. And obviously, the recruiting significance for West Virginia of opening a pipeline possibly to St. Francis could be enormous. So it's a coup for West Virginia for multiple reasons. Number one, you're getting a player from a place that's played against really good competition. Number two, you're opening up the lines of communication with those coaches so that they'll direct more of their players towards West Virginia. What a lot of people don't realize is recruiting is relationships, obviously. But a lot of times, if a coach doesn't know you or about your program, he's not going to tell his players like, hey, I'll tell you a good place where you might be is such and such place, right? I've had 3 kids go through there because when they have players that they love go through these colleges, they root for them. And then they get to know the staff, right? If you've never had a player go to USF, there's no relationship there. There's no betting influence on anybody that's on that roster. So you could care less about USF. Now, whenever LaMarcus goes to West Virginia, the whole staff there at St. Francis, as long as they like him, I'm sure they probably do, are going to be rooting for West Virginia. So I just breaking that down a little bit just because I don't think it's something a lot of people think about. So, okay, what are his strengths? Strength. That's the number one thing that you see on tape with him. At 6'3", 305, he's not enormous. He's not a towering presence of a human. He's not small, don't get me wrong, but 6'3", 305 is usually interior offensive line. And he has the raw power to dominate in the trenches. He's got the ability to move people around, right? And that's what he does. And he displaces defenders in the run game and creates lanes for running backs with ease. He plays with excellent leverage. Whoever taught him how to leverage people did an excellent job. He keeps his pad level extremely low and wins the battles at the point of attack, which is really crucial for an offensive lineman, obviously. And it allows him to hold his ground against bull rushers and people that drive people, and is able to drive defenders backwards. I think he's got versatility. He's going to be able to play anywhere on the interior. And he's athletic enough to play on the outside, but I don't know if he has the length to play on the outside. I would have to see the measurements, to be honest. But he's got pretty good flexibility, and I think West Virginia will be able to plug him in at center or guard. I like him at center, but I'm sure they'll play him at guard or center. So, like I said, he's 6'3", 305, which is a big dude, and he's got really good athletic ability as well. If you watch him on tape pull around, he really, as my dad used to say, he can shit it and get it, and he can. He can get around the edge and hit people right in the mouth, which is what we like to see. The motor on this kid is, him and Cam Goforth are similar in these ways. They both play to and through the whistle, like to the point that it's the whistle's blown and these guys are hitting the ground, right? That's what you love to see, that motor. I think he enjoys contact, to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. He really, you can tell he's got this approach. Pass protection is something that, kids either have or they don't coming out of high school. Running, the kids usually develop the run game these days, or in the past. It's definitely come a long way over the last 10 or 15 years. Used to be all kids learned was run game in a high school. Now it's definitely developed in a place like St. Francis, probably advanced. I think that's where he's going to come in and have a little bit of an advantage, because if you look at some of his one-on-one drills, he crushed people in camps. He's got very good footwork. His pass set footwork does need a little refinement, though, in my opinion. And he takes big steps, occasionally crosses his feet over after contact, which can lead to some balance issues against really skilled rushers. So I think you just help him improve his foot speed, right? And some technique there. And that'll help him handle quick edge players that he's going to face in college. He's very strong. And if you add him some more functional strength on top of what he's already got, he's going to be a guy that's going to be really a problem at the next level, I believe. He's still developing some consistency. I went and watched a couple games, just fast forwarding to each play, only watching offense. And he'll refine his hand placement and timing. And I think he'll definitely be able to fully capitalize on his physical gifts that he has. The experience obviously is big. And he's going to gain a ton against top-tier opponents in the Big 12. Hot piss meter, here's the thing. I think he is a very, very strong player with a lot of different upsides. I think he's a year away, personally, at least a year, maybe a year and a half away from really playing significant minutes on the offensive line. So, I think the impact on West Virginia is going to be pretty obvious. I'm not exactly sure. I'm trying to think if I want to adjust my meter or not. I don't know if it was fair or not. But I went ahead and looked at some of the different things, and let's watch the tape first. I think I want to do that again. Because I mean, there's a couple things that I want to see on the highlight reel because I haven't seen that yet. All I've watched is game footage, so we'll do that next. And that should be fun because I can't wait to see his highlights because his game film is. He plays through the whistle every single time. So we'll see what happens there. All right, let's get to the tape, guys. Let's go to break and do that. I think that'd be the best way. We'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll watch the tape, make a decision on the hot piss meter. Stick around. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Game Time. And look, when it comes to Game Time, they do it big. We know they do it big because there's nothing like the NBA playoffs. Tonight is Game 7. The intensity, the buzzer beaters, fans losing their gourds. It's the kind of atmosphere you got to experience live. And this year's matchups are already delivered. If you want in, Game Time makes it fast and easy to get seats, even for the biggest playoff games. Actually, the app prices will actually drop as you get closer to tip-off, contrary to popular belief. And with those killer last-minute deals over on Game Time, you can actually look in your seat before you buy a panoramic 360-degree view. Also, no surprise fees at checkout, where making it a total game changer. If you want to see your seat in the app before you buy with no surprises, Game Time is where it's at. And you can take the guesswork out of making that last-minute decision by buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms are going to apply. Read the times. I always say read the times. But again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off today, and download the Game Time app for last-minute tickets at the lowest prices, and that's guaranteed, and it'll help you answer the question of all questions. What time is it? It's game time. Segment 2. Let's crack open a Code Red Do and get to the tape because I love watching the tape when it comes to these big maulers. And this kid is a mauler, capital M mauler. Let's get there. All right, let's share screen. All right, getting over to and by the way, guys, we got some basketball stuff to talk about. It'll be fun. Kingston Money, somebody that West Virginia's involved with. You want to stick around for that too. All right. So LaMarcus, thank you for committing to West Virginia. We're excited if you're watching and tagged you in it. So you never know if you're actually watching or not. But, All right. This one's hard to see. I remember this play from watching game film. There he is. Boom, pancaked. There we go. This is a little better. He pulls around, I believe. No, he's mauling somebody again. There he goes to the ground. This is a much better one. At center. Beautiful snap. And look at just the engagement, man, really, really nicely done, as you can see. And these are against really good teams, by the way. Here he is at center again. Watch the snap perfectly back to the quarterback. That's the first thing. So where does the quarterback catch the ball? Oops, sorry. Quarterback caught the ball, and he was able to immediately turn around and give the ball off to the running back. And then it's a double team block, and he moves up to the backer. Very well done here. And even though they didn't get a lot of yards on the, it wasn't his fault. So that's nicely done. Here he is again. Nice job against a big old boy there at nose tackle. You like to see that too. Here he is pulling around at center. Boom. And look at the finish, putting guys on the ground. You love to see it, man. He'll be at either center or guard again. You never know. He changes up from time to time, but this is him. And there you see him work up. Well, not work up. He just meets the guy in the hole and just dominates him onto the ground. Here he is again, shotgun formation. And as you can see, he's so overpoweringly strong. Guys they're trying to do anything they can not to have to deal with him. This guy turned around, trying to spin around. He just no chance. And you see it over and over again on the game film too. He's always trying to finish through the whistle, which I appreciate. He's got that try hard mentality, which in gamer culture is looked at as negative, but not in football. There he is again, working off is on a double team. Both, they're just killing those guys. Try to see some pass pro stuff. I don't know if we will or not. Here he is here at the center spot. And yeah, there you can see. And a nice job eliminating the defensive tackle. This is going to be hard to see, but we'll try. Once again at center. No, he's at guard this time. I couldn't tell. No, that must be him right there. It's hard to tell from here. I assume center, but sometimes he's at guard. So there he is at pass pro again. That's really not a great look. We'll try it one more time, though. I'm watching these feet. Look good there. Nice throw. So overall, guys, like I say, I think overall he's really kind of made to come in and be able to compete right away. He's got to gain some. Look at the athleticism. That's probably, in my opinion, one of his greatest strengths is this athletic ability he has from the center spot or guard spot. Here he is at guard. Like I said, I thought he was at center, but he's actually at guard. Watch him rip around. I always look for that first step. How quick do they get out of that first step when they're pulling around? It's very important to watch. Watch the right foot. See how he did that? He didn't take a step back. He just turned and went, right? It's literally turning and going. You don't have to take a step back. Like I've seen people do it all multitude of ways. They'll take a step back, turn and go. Like you just got to turn and go. Or as you want to quote my dad again, shit it and get it. And on the outside, and then you just drive that guy back. Beautiful job on the pull. Beautiful job. And look at the athletic ability again. For a guy that's over 300 pounds, he moves so well. I believe this is him at center again. Yeah. And you can see, I think this is one of his better plays here. You see, look how he holds the ball on the ground. So a little unique, right? Hand on top of the ball looks like. Is that real? Oh, this is annoying. Yeah, it is. Interesting. But watch the engagement here. Watch, at first it looks like maybe a stalemate, but watch him drive him back. Look at the leverage. Look at the bend. This is where it's at, baby. And you love to see it. So what I'm saying is, obviously at the college level, functionally, he's going to have to get a little bit stronger, but that looked really good. Guard again, I want to say. Yeah. And that's where he really, really, man, what leg drive there. The leg drive on this play, very impressive. Obviously, he's coming off to the guy's side in his ear hole, kind of. But at the same time, I mean, this is perfect for him. This guy's pointing this way. He's trying to destroy that A gap. And boom, no chance, sir. And look, the ball came right where, I mean, look, it's almost like they were like, if you look at the defensive alignment and where the ball goes, he's trying to blow up right where the ball's coming, right? And so his job is to somehow, actually, he's making his job easier by pointing this direction, if you ask me. But I guess if you can shoot through the gap, then maybe not. But yeah, he just drives him out. Easy done, touchdown. That running back is good. I've seen him on a bunch of different plays. Watching them, like I'm sure he went to a Power 5 school for sure. Nice leg drive once again against another big 300-pounder, it looks like, or close to it. So, I mean, like I said, I think there's a certain type here. He is under center. I want to see that again. I love the snap. I'm always looking at the snap first. Look at the quickness on the snap. Very snappy. Boom. No pun intended, onto a double team. And then finishes him onto the ground. That's beautiful. We'll watch one more. And immediately, look at the leverage, right? That's one thing I mentioned in the open about him, right? His leverage. Watch him stay pretty low. See this bend right here that he gets to. Some guys will be standing straight up. At least he's got some leverage to him rather than being standing straight up. It's hard when you're a big guy. I wish we could get all the angles like this, but unfortunately, for those who listen on podcasts, this is a different camera angle. And very nicely done. You can see some athletic ability here too. Not that he's running full speed; it's how he moves. It's how easily he floats around his 305-pound body. Like he's surveying. And look, they obviously faking this pass out to the back, and then it's a bubble or a screen pass out this way, and then his job is to try to wrangle in this elusive defender. For a 305-pound guy, that's not easy, but he does it fairly easily, locks on, and finishes him very easily. It's not even close. So, over and over again, you see different things from him that make you think, okay, this is a kid, and there he is dominating that other big boy again. That guy had a rough day against him. Look at him fight. That's what I love to see. Through the whistle. One more time. This is the last play. Through the whistle. This is another big 300-pounder, number 75 right here. And watch them both engage. They're head-to-head. It's mano a mano, and watch him take this big old boy and just drive him back. And then and I appreciate the fight out of 7'5", but I mean, he's got no shot against him, in my opinion. So very good job from LaMarcus. I keep wanting to say LaMarcus Dillard certainly has a lot to offer the Mountaineers, and for sure is somebody that I think is going to eventually be a good Power 5 player. Hot piss meter. I think, physical attributes overall, I'll give him an 8 out of 10. I'm going to keep that the same. He's 6'3", 305. Ideal size for a Power 4 guy on the interior. You can definitely live with that. His skill set is a 7 out of 10. I think overall, if you look at the pass and the run pro, he's a much better mauler than anything else. He excels in driving defenders back, creating lanes. He's got the versatility to play multiple positions, either guard or center, possibly tackle if you really needed him to, because of that athleticism. And he reaches the second level really easily. So I think he shows some promise in pass protection with good leverage, but in a pretty good base. But he's got to get a little better in some things like that. The competition level that he played against in high school, 9 out of 10. While playing at St. Francis, a national powerhouse, obviously you're going to face top-tier competition. They play, like I said, IMG, Mater Day, DeMatha Catholic, like you name it, they play it. Columbus, Bishop Reedy, Cincinnati Xavier, like they play them all. So, and he's still only a junior. He's going to have another year to play in this elite competition. So he can definitely improve that. Program fit, I think, is an 8 out of 10. He's physical. He plays through the whistle, as you can see on there right there. We just watched it. He plays literally through the whistle. That run blocking style is going to align perfectly with West Virginia's offensive identity under Rich Rod because we prioritize tough ground-based attack game, right? I think his ability to pull and dominate in the trenches suit exactly what they want from him in the scheme. And his versatility is going to ensure that he's going to be able to have flexibility along the offensive line and could potentially be a cornerstone in 2028 or so, I think. So obviously he has some technical refinements that he has to fix, and I think that'll determine how quickly he adapts overall. If he develops quickly, it could be big time. If he develops slowly, then we're talking 28, 29, 30, somewhere in there. If he's still here by then. The recruiting impact I'm throwing in here as well. Landing a St. Francis player cannot be undersold. He had, because he played at St. Francis, he had Miami, Maryland, Pitt, Virginia Tech, everybody in that area you can think of in the ACC and us looking at him. And I think, he is a kid that has opened some windows and doors for us here to have a relationship with St. Francis for a total composite score of 40 out of 50. So, that's just right below what I consider getting into the very good, right below the elite. I think I would consider him a very good pickup. I don't think he is obviously, I look back to players that I've covered before on here, was he a Traylon Ray that I, whenever we got him, I was like, oh yeah, we know he's going to be a star at some point or a very good player at some point. No, not yet. I think he's developmental. And if he develops correctly, he's got the athletic ability, the size, and the way he plays, like his mentality. He plays through and to the whistle, to and through the whistle. That nobody's making him do that right now. He has the talent without that to still get picked up at Power 4 level. But he does it anyway. And to me, that's why they're grabbing him, because he does that kind of stuff. So big pickup for West Virginia. Absolutely believe in him. Hopefully he does well in the future. And let's roll with it, baby. After the break, let's talk basketball. The Mountaineers are interested in a pretty dang good 2027 player. Let's talk about it. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. Again, here Locked On West Virginia in segment 3. The West Virginia Mountaineers are interested in none other than Kingston Money, which is a pretty cool name if you ask me. He is a 6'3", 180-pound combo guard he's out of St. Louis in Principia High School. He also plays on Bradley Beal's AAU team or circuit. He's helped him in back-to-back league championships and has some D1 offers. So he is not what I would consider. He's kind of like KJ Tenner, right? A guy that has some D1 offers. He doesn't play. He plays nothing like KJ Tenner. I'm talking about from a profile standpoint. Like I would say he's a little underrated right now. I've only watched a couple plays. I like what I see so far. I haven't studied his film yet. So we're going to be watching this together for the first time. Let's see if we can find anything we like about him. We'll watch this first. So thanks to Keenan and then from over at Rivals for this video that I found on their page. I have to go back a little. Well, if we can wait for it to play. Maybe we have to pop out of it really quick. Sometimes you just have to go out. We can just continue watching it on X. Okay, we'll do that. I have to share the screen with you on X now. All right, we'll go to X. It's going to be hard on us, I reckon. Let's see. Tyler Coleman. Yep. Okay. There we go. All right. This is the video. Let's enjoy. So he threw an alley-oop right there. Pretty cool. Nicely done there. Was that him? Yeah, that was his jump shot. Let's watch that again. So first thing you notice is, as far as in rhythm, look at that base. Feet are very, very well set. Look at the knee bend. Look where the ball is immediately. The ball doesn't come down below his knees. It doesn't come up here. He literally gets into the pocket and shoots it, right? And look at that form. That is incredible form. Oh, that's so beautiful. I'll nerd out over his form all day. And look at that release. I can tell you right now, this kid's a shooter. 1,000% he's a shooter. Yeah, so that's gorgeous. And it makes sense, right? I mean, you see who they just added, a bunch of 40% three-point shooters in the portal cycle. So that's not nice pass. Very nicely done there. There he is again. I like that. I'm not seeing explosive athleticism yet, but then again, it's been all kind of in rhythm-based stuff, not necessarily anything rim rattling or anything yet. Now that's a pretty pull-up. I need to see more though. All right, there he is. They got him on the ball handoff, and he took a shot. It's really hard to tell him from these angles. I actually have his X profile here, so what we're going to do is we're just going to go over to his X profile. So, because he's got some more video on there, so let's go to that. Okay, yeah, here we go. Now I did see, where was it? Yeah, so schools to reach out to 2027 guard Kingston Money with the contact period open: West Virginia, Virginia Tech, Kent State, Duquesne, Austin P, Nebraska, St. Louis, SIUC, Eastern Tennessee, and Iowa State. Interesting, Iowa State's on this list. Gosh, man, it'll be hard for him to turn down Iowa State the way they've been playing the last few years. But yeah, let's check him out. So obviously, if Iowa State's looking at him along with West Virginia, there's a reason for that. I just haven't seen. I mean, this just looks like a pickup game, but he's 6'3", so handles are a little bit. I think he work on his. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It looks a little bit on the slow side. Look at, so like right here. That right there is way too high, in my opinion. Now, I say this all the time. I give caveats all the time, but I'm not a professional coach. I'm not a college coach or anything like that. I've watched and played ball my whole life. Literally my whole life since I was 3 years old. I played basketball. I was on my first basketball team when I was 5. I've had college coaches coach me and things. I mean, I feel like I know enough to critique, just like in football. This right here at the college level, if Javon Small is right there, or if, anybody of any caliber of defense, this right here is something that right hand will come right after that. And I think for those of you listening on podcast, basically whenever he's setting up his crossover, it looks like the ball comes up right about to his breast level, rib cage right below his chest. That's just way too high. And I've seen him do it on a couple, and the handles the ball's not moving extremely fast whenever he's dribbling it. It's kind of slow, and but I mean, he's gifted with this, like, as far as and here it is again. So this little hesitation thing he does here, it used to be a carry. It doesn't get called anymore. But obviously he's a young kid. 2027. That means he's got 2 years left to go, right? So there's no doubt he's going to get stronger and all that. So you're kind of projecting out with a kid like this. His body's not fully developed. He's going to get stronger and faster. He's going to dribble stronger and faster. But I mean, just from right now, as far as dribbling wise, he's obviously got to get stronger. That ball's got to whip around a little faster as when he dribbles. But I mean, skill wise, very skilled. Very skilled. And looks like he's got a bevy of offensive moves that he can get to. So that's great. We love to see that. Could I guard him? Hell no. Hell no, I couldn't guard him. But, I just I want to see him get a little bit more smooth in his handles. I really like everything else that I can. That was pretty. So, I mean, it's not that he can't handle it. It's just that I don't know if this makes sense to any of you guys, but there's levels to it. I can do behind the back and between the legs and all that as well. But can I do it smoothly and quickly is kind of the difference, right? You go look at Javon Small dribble the ball, and it's like it's a yo-yo. It's stuck to his hands one way or the other. He goes back and forth between around, and it's doom 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 doom, not doom 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 doom. I know that probably looks silly too, but I'm trying to make just a point about it. There's got to be more speed to it. Now that was a pickup game. So be wrong, and maybe he plays quicker in real life. Oh gosh, I got this music playing. I'm gonna get killed. Almost forgot about it. All right. So this is a fall league. Yeah, like I said, the handles, it's weird. It's weird to say. Like, it's not that he can't handle it. He can handle it. It's just that the speed and power which he's handling it with, it's like they call it being strong with the ball, right? Like whenever I used to go up for layups all the time and I would lose the ball or I'd get it stripped out of my hands, different things like that, because I wasn't being strong with the ball. So I would just say that he'll probably, over the next 2 years, absolutely will get stronger with the ball. No doubt about it. All right, Kingston Money will be an interesting kid to keep track of. Absolutely. Like he's playing it with Brad Beal's elite team on AAU. So, I mean, if Bradley Beal sees something in him, who am I to judge? Absolutely. Right. So that's an interesting one as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. This has been a fun one. Really cool. I'm probably going to do a separate episode on Rim Baker and the naming rights. I got a few things to say about it. So maybe I'll come back this evening and do that. Or if there's any other news or something, maybe I'll do something. But Semper Fi, Double Dog, I appreciate you for being on here. Hoorah. Like the video before you leave. Subscribe if you're new around here. And absolutely share it out if you can. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen. And for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. If you can do me a flavor, though, check out the portal over on YouTube. Locked On Portal, it does it big. Brian Smith has the latest rumors, and it'll have you being the most up-to-date on college football as anybody could possibly be. Make sure you check him out. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, this episode's over. I'm out.